No, Sirski. That was not what it was giving. It was
Ooh.
another lesson.
It was
Okay.
It was a whole other lesson, and that's fine because guess what? It brought me to the journey where I am now, and I'm finally realizing that I am becoming her.
You are now listening to The Mental Breakdown.
Hey everyone, it's Earth to Asia.
And Journey with Jess.
And today we'll be talking about a sense of belongingness. Last week we talked about, Lord,
balance.
Good. Last week.
It's okay. It's Monday. It's okay.
It's Monday, okay? Last week we talked about balance. And like I said, this week we'll talk about a sense of belongingness and also tying in like the imposter syndrome. But before we get into it, Jasmine, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. Like this Monday has just kind of been all over the place and hectic for me, but good to be here. Good to, get to have this conversation. And, I think regardless of everything that's going on, it's still going to be a great day, a great podcast session. What about you?
I'm feeling good. Kind of going off of what Jasmine said, today is a day of rest. Today is a day that most of us have off. We're recording on July 4th. So, most people have today off, but I think I started off my day very well. I woke up and I worked out and I did some yoga. I recorded some videos and posted and edited. So I feel really good and productive. But now I feel like I'm feeling a little tired, ready to just relax and everything. So this is this type of podcast today. We kind of like chilling. Chill podcast.
And I don't know, because like people always think that people who do content creating, like it's just so easy. It's just record videos, and no, like it's a whole process. Like it takes effort and time. So
it definitely takes effort. And we here at the Mental Breakdown are going to give it to you raw, and we're going to be very open and vulnerable. With just how we're feeling, and we're not going to fake it because no. That's not what we're doing.
Real, keeping it real.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess we can, get into the topic. Yes. So as far as like a sense of belonging, I would ask you, how do you feel when you feel like you don't belong? Like, what does that feel like for you? Like when you don't feel like you're in the right space or you don't feel welcome?
Just in general?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk specifics, you can, expand how you wish, but.
Okay, I'll just say in like a broad scope of not feeling like I belong. I feel, lonely. I feel almost like if you can imagine like just a white space, like kind of close your eyes and imagine just like a white space and you're just sitting in there alone. And nobody else is around, even though you might be in a space with other people, but in reality with myself, kind of how I feel is just like in a white space, in a white room, nobody else around, and nobody else can relate to me.
Like isolation.
Yeah, kind of like isolation, right?
Because when you said that, it takes me back to like kind of like an asylum.
Yeah, like kind of like when people are in prison and they have to go into those rooms. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a white wall, but that's kind of what I see like on TV.
Yeah.
They're in this space where it's just like white walls or whatever around, or it might just be dark and it's just them in it. I even picture myself kind of like sitting like in a corner, like hands on my knees, like head down type of thing. That's kind of how I feel.
That's very descriptive. I mean, that definitely, I would feel, that feels very like alone and like, closed off from the world.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I think there's like a good sense of isolation, and then there's a bad sense of isolation. And that's definitely like, I'm good off that.
How would you like how would you help people visualize how you feel when you're alone, when you feel alone or you don't belong, I should say?
I think
I'm going to close my eyes. Everybody just close your eyes and let's vision how Jasmine feels when she is not belonging. When she
I think mine's quite the opposite in a way. Like, I think you see nobody, but I see people, and they're all staring at me, and they're all like pointing their fingers at me. Like they're all looking at me, and it's like disgust, and it's like, you don't belong here type of like look. Like, when you be somewhere and they be like, what is she doing here? I feel like, but a crowd of people are doing that, and I'm like in a corner. Yeah, that's what I visualize. And it's dark, and there's like a spotlight on me. Yeah.
Do you feel like, hold on, is it a crowd of people around you, or would you more so say it's like you're walking and the spotlight is following you and the crowd is like on the side of you, like looking at you, pointing at you? Or like,
I really didn't think about the walking piece, but that's also applicable. But I just thought more of like in one space, like in a room, and it's dark, and it's just on me, and everybody's just like, get up out of here, you don't belong. So,
do you think, I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but do you think that like kind of comes from the time that you told me like you were on stage or something?
No, I think so the thing that Asia's talking about is when I was younger, my mom put me in a pageant, and I was like walking, I was like 5 or 6, and I was walking, everybody was just like laughing at me. But when you're younger, everybody's laughing at you like, oh, she's so cute, ha ha. But I'm like, everybody's laughing at me, I don't like this. Like, I start crying and everything. So it doesn't take me back there. It more so takes me back to like middle school, when like I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any self-esteem, any confidence. Like, I just felt like I was alone. Like, nobody understood me. I felt like nobody wanted to try to understand me. And I felt like everywhere I went, everybody was kind of just like staring at me, because I grew up in like a very Caucasian neighborhood. And I don't fit the bill for a Caucasian woman, if you didn't know. So I was always like, I wasn't good enough in that sense. So yeah, it takes me back to middle school, really. And then high school is a lot better, because it was definitely more integrated it was definitely more a definite diverse community, I would say, in my high school years. But yeah, it takes me back to middle school.
I think I am not necessarily the opposite, but I felt that in college. So I grew up in a predominantly Black area. And so, I mean, like elementary school, middle school, high school. And then I decided to go to a PWI, so a predominantly white institution. And that's when I noticed a culture shock. And I did feel a sense of, not belonging. And I was so like, especially during that time, like I didn't want to, I was not going to lose like my quote unquote, lose my Blackness or whatever. So I was very hardcore, like, no, this is me. I'm not changing, like, and I would wear my afros. I would wear, whatever I felt like I was going to wear. So I was confident, but at the same time, I still would see people looking at me certain ways. It was just different. So yeah, people just weren't used to what I did or our culture. So I think I definitely felt that, felt what you felt, but in college. So.
Yeah. And I think because I went through it in middle school and then I went to high school, in high school, I found my group of people. So when I went to undergrad, that's exactly what I did. Like, it was a handful of us Black people. Luckily, me and Asia did athletics, so it was easy for us to find Black people, because that's where all the Black people was at in athletics.
Well, not me. I mean, yes, but not me. I could get into that.
Well, yeah, yours is a different situation. Like, you definitely was not as diverse on your team, but just in general, the hub of athletes on that campus were Black.
Yeah, like all the most players, a lot of the basketball
players. Obviously, baseball and lacrosse and stuff wasn't, but
I mean, a little bit of track, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was more so football and basketball.
Yeah. And I was on the basketball team, so I was straight. But yeah. But the whole topic today is really about a sense of belonging. But I just wanted to ask, like, how did you kind of navigate that feeling of not belonging? Because I think to know belonging you need to know what not feeling belonging, not feeling
Like
belonged or embraced, I guess a better word to say.
yeah.
Going back to college, I definitely felt a sense, but also kind of had the same initiative and the same hobbies and interests as me too.
Can you go back for a second, because our lovely Wi-Fi wanted to break you up for a second. So you said in college you definitely felt a sense of what?
Belonging. Like I definitely found my group of people where we had things in common and we had similar interests, and we all kind of hung out. It was always us together. Like if you saw one of us, it was like, oh, where's such and such? And like,
Right.
oh, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, I think once we were at CNU and we definitely found like our people in during freshman year, which I'm so grateful that I found most of them during freshman year, because like that just helped everything go by smoothly. It was just kind of like, we're just gonna make this as fun as possible. We're gonna make our experience, you know what I mean? And so even though a lot of us didn't have people that looked like us at the campus, and even some of us this was a whole entire new culture shock to us. Having that group of people and having we called it well, for me, I called it our Black community. Having the small Black community that we had at CNU, it definitely did help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of like going out of school though, I think my family has also been a challenge for me when it comes to belonging. Not like my immediate family, like my mom and dad, my sister, they did the best they can, and very well, if I might say, to love and support and care about me. But my extended family, like most of them are like strangers. Like I don't know them, and it really does upset me because I see all these families, all these people who know their cousins and they know their aunts and they know their uncles. They can call them like their family, and I feel like my mom and dad are like, why don't you call your auntie? Why don't you call this and that? Because it's like I'm at the age now where I have the liberty to reach out to them. When I was younger, whether I had a phone or not, I'm younger, like you should be reaching out to me. And I still feel that way sometimes though, because it's like, you never wanted to have a true relationship with me when I was younger. So why should I put out effort? Why should I force one? Not even that, but why should I be the one to have to implement or try to create this relationship with you when you never try to do that for me? But then I think about it and I'm like, you can't really help what people do to you. You can only help what you want to see happen, right? So things that happen to you.
Oh my gosh. This is a real raw.
Okay.
Real raw podcast today, okay?
Okay. And that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
But
I apologize, listeners.
This is no reason to apologize, bro. It happens.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. But yeah, I was just talking about how I feel like, things happen to you and you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you react or how you respond. So if I want this relationship with you, or if I want to build a relationship with you, then maybe I should just go ahead and be the adult that I am now and go forth and create that sense of relationship and connection. Because I think that's important. And I think it really stunted my ability to connect with people, not having that connection with my family. And now that I'm older, having to go back and figure out how to connect with people and how to create long-lasting relationships with people that are meaningful to me. So yeah, my family has definitely been a challenge for me in that arena as well.
So when you say like cousins and stuff, because I mean, like the cousins, are they around your age? Do you even know? Like, are they around your age too? Are they older, or like, we have no idea?
I have no idea. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have 2 cousins that we talk Christmas and Thanksgiving, and when it's their birthday, like we'll tell each other happy birthday or whatever, but it's not like, let me call my cousin real quick, I haven't talked to her in a while, or I miss my cousin. It's not like that. It's more like when I was younger, we used to get together a lot and they were always there, so we were closer then. But as we got older, like time and stuff just started happening. But other than them, I don't know. I really don't know. My mom would be like, oh, that was your cousin. I'm like, that's a stranger.
Right.
I don't know him.
Right.
Like, it's literally like, I know like 3 of my cousins. 3.
No. Well, that's okay. Because guess what? You have me. I'm like,
I definitely, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not lacking in the support, and I'm not lacking in the belongingness, but I am lacking in that area. Like, I got Asia. I got friends here in Greensboro. I got friends back at home in Richmond. You know, I got friends in Newport News. That's not where I'm lacking. You know, I am lacking that sense of community and sense of belonging within my family system, though. And that has always been a touchy subject for me, just because even like for my graduation, I think I told you this, like I invited like all my aunts, all my uncles, and literally only 2 of them showed up. And nobody told me they weren't showing up either. Nobody.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Right. Not my college, my high school graduation. Well, college was COVID year.
I doubt that it's anything against you though, because like it's the type of thing where they haven't even got to know you. So I doubt that it's anything against you.
No, and I don't think it's anything against me, but can you just imagine? You don't see your family ever. I literally see them on Christmas and sometimes Thanksgiving, right? I don't see you ever. And I invite you at that time to one of the biggest accomplishments I've had in my life. And no one, it's a difference between me inviting you, say, oh, you know, I had this and this and this and do, like, congratulations type of thing. It was never that. I showed up to graduation. I left graduation. I looked to see who was there to congratulate me. And it was my great aunt and my great grandma. Not my great aunt and my grandma. And that was it. That was it. And obviously my mom and my dad, but I don't know. I don't really count them because they're always there for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I appreciate that for them.
Don't leave Jada Wade out.
You know what? Because Jada was literally, I have to show you a picture because Jada was literally like 13.
Oh, and you said it was high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, Jada Wade.
Yeah, Jada Wade.
But yeah, no, I definitely feel for you. And I do hope that, I say, even though you have the feelings of like, oh, I don't want to reach out because they never reached out to me. At least maybe try it again one more time. If it gets to a point where it's like, okay, look, bro, I tried everything, then, you know.
And that's the thing, though. I never actually tried because it's just like, it's like a weird relationship because you are my uncle, you are my aunt, you are my cousin or whatever. But I know you and my friends way more than I know them.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you're a stranger to me. It's the same thing as if like, I don't know, like I met a random person from the store and was like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, you know, like I like you as a person, but you never talk to them. So it's like, why would I just randomly call you? I'll never call you. I'll never talk to you. Yeah. So it's like, where do you start? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'll be awkward. It'll definitely be weird, but
right. And why
I feel like I would just be open and honest. Like, hey, I've been wanting to have this relationship with you for the longest time, and just with my family in general. So if we can try to have this, you know, or if we can all go out to dinner or something, like, I don't know, plan something.
I mean, yeah, and that's it's really like an ego thing for me, though. It's an ego thing for me because it's definitely like, I could definitely do that. I'm younger than you for one, and for two, like, it's almost like, what if you are like, I don't know, like you like, okay, well, okay. But you're not so invested in me as an individual. And then it's just like, well, dang, like I thought I was your family.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's that. But
you're okay. Okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten over that. It definitely still stings me a little bit sometimes when I think about it. Yeah. Even last Christmas, like my aunt, it wasn't heavy COVID, but you know, it was still kind of COVID going on. And so my aunt was like, if you're not vaccinated, you can come, you just have to wear a mask. And I called my aunt and I was like, are you coming? Because I really wanted to see her. I'm like, I haven't seen y'all in 2 years.
Right.
Like and I only see y'all ever on Christmas. Right. So I haven't seen y'all. Like, are you coming? And she's like, well, I'm not vaccinated and your aunt doesn't really, you know, want us to be over there. I said, all you have to do is wear a mask. She was like, okay, well, I'll probably just come through and just show my face, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. I just wanted to see it. I just want to say, hey. Right. Never showed up. Never even said that she wasn't showing up.
I had a feeling.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, and then my other uncles, like, it's pulling teeth trying to get them to come around. And I think a lot of them, when they see me and my sister, they have a heavy sense of regret because they never tried to build that relationship. Or, you know, when my grandma passed away, it was, I'm going to try to do better and I'm going to try to be in your life. And that was just all talk, really.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And you just got to go with the flow. That's the mantra.
So Jasmine and I, switching the topic for a little bit, not the topic, not the entire topic, but part of the topic. Jasmine and I I'm about to say in high school, in middle school, in college, you might have heard us mention that we were a part of this research lab. And within the research lab, we learned about imposter syndrome. Now, during that research lab, Jasmine, was that your first time learning about it? Because it was definitely my first time learning about imposter syndrome, like hearing just like that term.
No, I had heard the term before. Obviously, we were doing like in-depth research about it, so I didn't know as much as they had gone into it with. But I had heard the term before.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I think my mom might have mentioned it, but through research lab, that's when I was really, like you said, learning about it.
Yeah, and I think I knew about it, but I didn't know that I kind of had it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know that it was actually like a part of my experience.
Yeah.
As a college student going to a PWI.
Yeah. So I just have the definition for anyone who does not know what imposter syndrome is. So imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. It disproportionately affects high achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. Many question whether they're deserving of accolades. Mm-hmm. So like I said, like I mentioned, I'm not going to go like super duper into depth about it because we kind of just talked about it, but I definitely felt like this at CNU, and we even within like my schoolwork and stuff like that, you know, before I went to CNU, like I had always been like pretty much top in my class, and you know, like I would get all the accolades. I would get like certificates or like awards or whatever at school. I would always get those things ever since like preschool probably. So when I got to CNU and I noticed that, like, I don't know, like maybe I got a B- and like, I don't know, I don't want to say Susie or like somebody else ends up getting like an A+ when I usually get like A's, you know what I mean? I was a little confused. I was a little thrown off. And I definitely noticed that some of my classmates were a lot more up there, or maybe even in my head a little bit, maybe higher than me. Bless you.
All right.
You're good. So definitely think that put me in a place when I first got there where it was like, I know that like I am deserving of all of my achievements. I know that I belong here because I definitely got into this school and I got into the program that most of, you know, the people that I'm in class with are in, which I'm just talking about PLP. So like, I know that I'm good enough, you know, I know that I'm here for a reason, but I don't know, like these kids just maybe because where I feel like they're from or like the schools that they went to or whatever, like, I don't know. It was just feeling like, am I really supposed to be here though? Like, do I know as much as I think that I know? But at the end, I definitely felt like, yeah, no, I was supposed to be here and I am good enough. And I do feel like, you know, the things that I got into, I was deserving of that.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was more like, I would be doing really well. And I'm like, you need to do more. You need to do more. You need to do more.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was never doing enough.
Yeah.
It always felt like I wasn't. And I think that's the narrative that they kind of push in undergrad. Is like, you need to be doing this and involved in this club and doing this and having this GPA and all this, you know, just having a list to fill, you know, to kind of boost your resume or whatever. But I always felt like, okay, I'm doing this now. Okay, cool, whatever. I never congratulated myself because it was always, you're not doing enough. You need to go do something else. Or you need to continue to add on to what you're doing already. Yeah. And I think the imposter syndrome set in where it was like, I never felt like I was doing enough. So I never felt accomplished. I never felt like I was where I needed to be. I always felt like I was in the wrong space, like, or if I was in the right space, I needed to be in another space too. I needed to overprove myself.
It definitely set in for me when I first looked at, I ended up graduating with a really, good GPA, but like when my GPA was like not where where it used to be. Like I graduated high school like 3.8, something like that. So like I'm like, okay, like I feel good, like I'm good. No, I got to CNU and something happened. I ended up failing a science class. I had to retake it. Oh my gosh, Asia's brain was in shambles. Okay. I was like, my emotions, my brain, I was like, Asia failed a class. What do you mean? It was a science class. I ended up switching my major completely to something else. Well, not completely, because psychology is definitely a social science. But I was like bio or whatever. So yeah, when I experienced like a GPA drop and like when I experienced like failing a class, like that's not me, that's when that set in for me for sure.
And I think mine was kind of the opposite. Like I actually ended, and my experience as an undergrad was very rare because most people like change their major. Most people, they get to college and there's a shift in expectation, probably what happened to you, or you just ended up being in a major that you thought you were going to do and then it wasn't for you. Right. But that never happened to me. So when I finished my first semester, I actually did really well. And that's when I was like, okay, cool. You need to do more. And it was never like, I think even with the research lab, the professor or the advisor that we had, she was also my academic advisor. And when I got there, she was like, you need to have this GPA if you want to go to, continue your education. And
Doolittle or Greenlee?
Greenlee. Yeah, so she was just like, you need to get this type of GPA and you need to hold this GPA if you want to go here when you finish your schooling. So I just always felt like that was the mark, that was the bar. And if I didn't reach that bar, I wasn't good enough. And I just felt like but it was also weird because I would reach that bar and there was these other people at CNU who were getting 4.0s and 3.8s their first semester. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I was, okay. But yeah, it's a different world going to a PWI for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Especially when also like from my experience, like I even experienced like some racist stuff that I'm not going to go into detail in this, but like, yeah. So you have that, thrown at you, and then you have like just the whole adjustment. Then you have in my brain, like maybe even thinking about transferring to a different college. So, and then also me changing my major. So it was just a bunch of different things going on with me. But I ended up figuring it out, and I'm very happy that I graduated from there and meeting the people that I did. And eventually I did feel that sense of belonging. So I was able to, the good thing about it is I was able to overcome it. So that was good. But I also want to talk about like, just before we do our tip of the day, I wanted to talk about like a sense of belongingness in the world. So I remember when I was younger, and this is when I wanted to first go natural. And I literally wanted to go natural before like this was a whole trend. I'm not saying I started the trend. I ain't saying that, because I was literally, it was at the end of 5th grade. But I just knew that I wanted my puffballs back, okay? Asia wanted her puffballs back. Nobody else was necessarily doing this whole natural hair thing. People was looking at me funny, and my character was still like, everything was still forming. I was still kind of like learning and getting into myself. End of 5th grade, I was little. I was just going into middle school. Mind you, people are mean. People are mean in elementary school and middle school. But all I knew was I didn't want that straight, straggly, stringy hair anymore. I wanted my puffballs back because I knew something was wrong. I didn't understand why my scalp was burning every single time I went to get my hair done. I didn't get that part. So anyway, I feel like I definitely, once I ended elementary school and went into middle school, I definitely wasn't feeling like a sense of belongingness because nobody was wearing their hair like I was. And I was very different. And that's when like that's when you should say that Asia was starting to pick up that Earth to Asia stuff. Like I started going to a natural hair salon. I would wear my hair, like I would wear flowers in my hair. Like people that I grew up with, they definitely remember, like in middle school, I used to wear like my afro with like the flowers in my hair and like sundresses and stuff like that. And I was always on my little like Earth to Asia kind of hippie type of whatever, but like nobody was like me. Nobody was on that. And the whole like natural and hippie type of girl, like that thing wasn't a trend yet. And it's still kind of like, I guess, a trend now, when it's like, this is really me. Like this is how I grew up, even when nobody was doing it when I was little. So I definitely felt like that. I was going to like natural hair, natural lifestyle expos and stuff like that. Like my mom and I remember like learning about, and this is like I said, very early, like middle school, elementary school, maybe. We were learning about like ear waxing, like, or not, what is it called? Not ear waxing, candle waxing. Like tip of your head, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like candle waxing for your ears and shea butter. I forgot about that. Like, so I've been using shea butter and black soap and stuff like that since early. And I remember specifically, like somebody had like a sleepover or something, and I had like my African black soap, and everybody was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's my soap." It was even to a point like my mom and I, because of the aluminum and the deodorants, my mom and I, we made like our own natural deodorant. Like we was on this wave for a very, very long time. But it was like when everybody was like, "Huh?" Now everybody, that's everybody's little secret, African black soap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's cool that you found that sense of yourself when you were so young, because I feel like I tried to do those things and I tried to like be different, but I wanted so bad to just feel accepted and like belong. So like when I was in elementary school, so when I was in third grade and I was 8 years old, we moved from Virginia Beach area to Richmond. And Virginia Beach area was very Black. Like if it was a white kid in my class, it was one out of 200 kids. Okay. It was very Black. So when I moved to Richmond, and it was a culture shock for me when I was in elementary school, and I moved there and my hair was in pigtails with the little barrettes on the bottom, and you know the way you wear your hair in third grade. But when I walked in the classroom, everybody's hair was straight. Even the Black girls, their hair was straight. They wore little headbands, and I'm like, Mom, I want my hair like that. Like I don't want to look like this anymore. I don't look like that. And my mom, for the longest time, she fought me on that, because it's like she lived in the Hampton Roads area her whole life. So what she was doing was perfectly normal. Right. But when I went to school, it was like, no, you don't. What's wrong with your hair? Why is it all twisted up? Why can't you run your fingers through it? Why? And then even to the fact, like, I remember in middle school, the thigh gap was the thing. And I have never had one of those. Yes. If you had a thigh gap, you were that girl.
That was never like,
yes.
Like, over on my side of town, we didn't pay attention to that.
Yes. If you had a thigh gap, girl, that was everything. And I'm sorry, I was never given that. So even then I kind of felt like I was fat. I ain't never been fat neither. You see what I'm saying? So like you see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It took a long time for me to come to my own and to really be like, okay, well, y'all ain't on this wave, but it's just who I am. And I guess if you want to, you can kind of transition to my tip of the day, where be yourself and be you. Because once you are exactly who you are, the people who are meant to be in your life and the people who will embrace you for you will come into your life, and they will be the ones to make you feel accepted and appreciated, and like, you know, a sense of community. And that's when I really started to meet my best friend and meet my friends, my lifelong friends in college, in high school, and even now. Just being yourself, and people who accept you will accept you, and if they don't accept you, then they're not for you. So yeah, I guess that's my tip of the day, kind of segueing.
Yeah, I think my tip of the day, honestly, mine will be like the same thing. Be yourself. I know we've kind of said this before, and that sounds very cliche, but yeah, I'd have to agree with Jasmine. Just be yourself, because like once, as you can see, this is something that how I am now, this is something how I have been for years. Like, I mean, like I said, when nobody was on that stuff, not to say that I started it, because I ain't started it. But like, I was just doing
out there.
Out there. But like, I was doing, you know, I've been me. I have been me. So when I say that I'm not doing this stuff for a trend, you know, it's just me. And that's why I think that all of this aligns, you know, Earth to Asia Wellness, this wellness podcast, my yoga, this has been my life's purpose. And God has been putting this within my life since a very young age. So just, you know, even when you feel like, oh, I want to look like everybody else or whatever, because, you know, most young people are going to go through that stage, but just try not to forget like who you are within that process. And a lot of the times it just always comes back and circles back around, and just be you and remember who you are.
You. It's simple, just be you.
It's simple, just be you. That's on my
tagging Earth to Asia Wellness.
Earth to Asia Wellness mugs. If you would like to go purchase one.
Oh wait, because I'm sure. Hold on, because I got it.
Oh, because she got her coffee and tea mug in the room.
Okay, because I was drinking out of it earlier today.
It's
Check the merch.
simple. Just be you. Wait, like bring it a little closer. It's a glare. There we go. It's simple. Just be you. That's on www.earth2asia.com.
Period.
I would love to have the mental breakdown merch. We could do that soon, or, you know, eventually.
Truly. Yeah, that would be dope.
That would be very dope. Jasmine, if that's all that you have.
That is all.
All right. So hopefully Jasmine would do the honors of our closing.
I have no problem. So I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation today. It was very lax, very chill, very real. Okay.
Very real.
We had a few hiccups here and there, but you know, that's life, and we are doing the best we can to give you the best that we can, right? So thank y'all for tuning in. We are coming out with new episodes every Friday. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at TMBD official. Follow Asia at Earth to Asia. Follow me at journey.w.jazz. We also upload all of our videos on YouTube, and we are also streaming on all platforms. So you can go check us out wherever. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. YouTube, Spotify, Anchor,
Apple Podcasts.
Oh, for sure. Apple Podcasts.
Apple.
Yeah, go check us out. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day or night or whatever time it is, wherever you are.
Absolutely. We'll talk to y'all next time.
See you next week, guys.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Mental Breakdown Podcast. Please rate, subscribe, review, and follow us on Instagram at TMBD official. See you next time.